Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alkriki and Today FM rocks here in Tabwa.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, Valvano Secondary School resumes classes. 11 men charged with criminal trespassing. And parents frustrated about e-transport card top-up.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
While the Seventh-day Adventist Church and the government are locked in a legal battle over the church's decision to privatise Valvano Adventist College, classes have started as Term 2 commenced this morning. There was a sense of excitement in the air as teachers and students streamed into the school after saying their farewell at the end of Term 1 when the SDA Church decided to close the school. Eleanor Rangaivu files this report.
Several RSL carriers from the villages in the district of Natewa, Tunuloa and Thakaunrabe Vanua arrived at the Valvano school this morning, carrying loads of students eager to start the new school term.
Now that Term 2 has started, the original plan, initial plan was just to get the education rolling.
At the entrance of the school stands the signboard, bearing a reminder of the power struggle over the management of the school. The SDA Church logo and the word Adventist removed by white paint.
There are other elements that also need addressing. So we've gotten in touch with our stakeholders and we've set up a plan to address those elements, just to make the environment more conducive to learning and teaching.
2 weeks ago, the SDA Church was slapped with several court orders that prevented them from closing down the school, one of which includes the handing over of the management of the school to the Ministry of Education. Since then, an interim committee has been formed to oversee the running of the school.
We have an interim committee currently operating. It's just on an interim basis until the community and the school are ready to elect a new committee to manage the school.
According to the committee, the numbers at the school should normalize by tomorrow, as boarding students should be arriving at the school late today. There are 178 students at the school with 48 boarders. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
Fijians are still not following the application requirements for taking a tambua or whale's tooth out of the country. The Permanent Secretary for Environment says despite numerous reminders, people are still not abiding by the rules. Kritika Kumar reports that anyone wishing to import or export tambuas must acquire an approval letter from the PS of Itauke Affairs and a permit from the Department of Environment.
Permanent Secretary for Environment Joshua Wycliffe says it puts a lot of pressure on the ministry when travellers don't give sufficient notice or follow the proper application process.
Give us sufficient notice. I have passengers who travel by the 9 p.m. Los Angeles flight, coming and knocking at doors at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Wycliffe says the tambua bears deep cultural and historical meaning for Fiji and the Fijian people, thus the application needs to be proper.
Tambua is an important cultural totem, and then being that importance, if it's that significant, you also plan around the significance and be able to take it safely and, of course, present it to the people who are waiting in another country.
We process the tambua permits here in Itoke Affairs. It's not only Itoke people taking tambua across. It's gone across the whole strata of Fiji's demographic population. Fijians of Indian descent, Fijians of European descent, Fijians of Chinese descent.
Meanwhile, 146 tambua were received from the New Zealand government, which was handed over to the Itoke Ministry last month, 10 of which are with the Ministry of Environment for research purposes. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The 11 men from Doloi Suva who were taken in for questioning over the weekend have been charged with criminal trespassing. This was confirmed to FBC News by their lawyer Niko Nawaikula. It's alleged they were protesting and was seen live on social media threatening to cut off the water supply for people living in Suva. The men were arrested by police at the Savura Dam in Doloi, Suva. Now, Waikula claims their issue was totally different from the Water Authority of Fiji workers, and they want to expose TLTB's failure to compensate them for their land on which the dam is built. The men are currently in police custody, and it will appear in court tomorrow. Hundreds of parents and students turned up at the Education Office frustrated by the long process of topping up their e-transport cards. Term 2 began today for many students around Fiji, but for some it was not the case, as they are still trying to sort out their free bus fare cards from the Education Ministry. Some parents were turned away and told to get their forms signed from their children's schools. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry has stated that all students carrying blue e-transport cards simply need to get the balance loaded onto their cards using the redeem function at any e-ticketing machine. For some parents, this was not the case.
Pathetic, very, very pathetic indeed. It should have been done. I don't know, I'm not sure whether this thing was done during the first term school break or not. If not, then that's why you can see a long line here before us.
Well, we have a long line of people waiting for their children's cards to be topped up, but it's taking us a lot of time, wasting our time, going here, going there.
Still to come, civil society calls for more inclusion. And Fiji Airways monitors Miami Boeing 737. Details after the break.
Nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Hoya ubasit sai lambasa, ya ndo talita ina warong nambula FM nambandua ya nasere.
Gua do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka. Talita kina na warong nambula FM nambandua ya nasere.
Wana tunga nambula FM nambandua ya nasere nambua.
Na vengo fanya na tao.
Fijian civil society organisations will continue strengthening their partnership with the government and development partners. President for the Fiji Council of Social Services, Sitiveni Turanganimbure, says in addition to improving transparency, there is a need for CSOs to ensure compliance with the necessary frameworks in place. As part of last week's high-level meeting of the Asian Development Bank, CSOs from the region were well represented as an integral part of planning for future development. Maggie Boyle reports.
Civil society organisations continue to stamp their mark on development for the people, by the people.
We need partnership with ADB. Some kind of policy could be formulated so that from ADB to government towards the civil society organization.
And with the Asian Development Bank bringing their annual governors meeting here, it was an opportunity to directly discuss their issues.
Partnership, not only at global level, but it has partnership that has to come down to reach civil society organization, partnership within the community. We're trying to localize everything.
For the ADB, the inclusion of the CSOs was a significant contributor to deliberations.
The meeting, the substance, there were so many substantive discussions about the management of ADB, Strategy 2030 and others, and the civil society organization meeting, of course, press interactions was so intensive and interesting.
As part of the talks, the ADB also revealed their safeguard policy that deals with CSOs and calls for their consultation. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Fiji Airways is closely monitoring the situation that occurred when a Miami Air Boeing 737 aircraft slid off a runway in Florida last Friday night. It was a narrow escape for 136 passengers and 7 crew members who were on board. The aircraft is similar to a Boeing 737-800 aircraft leased by Fiji Airways from Miami Air last month, which, as a precaution, has been stopped from servicing flights between Nadi and Auckland, Apia, Christchurch and Brisbane. The aircraft was aimed to cover some of Fiji Airways' schedules due to the temporary grounding of its 2 Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircrafts. The Fiji Airways spokesperson says they will not operate the Miami Air leased aircraft until more details are released about the incident in Jacksonville, Florida. The airline says the safety is and always will be their top priority. Japan's finance minister says the country will actively support infrastructure development in Asia-Pacific countries prone to natural disasters. Taro Aso spoke on the importance of disaster preparedness during the Asian Development Bank's annual conference. He said Japan is frequently hit by natural disasters and is prepared to help other countries with its experience and knowledge. According to the ADB, natural disasters, including typhoons and earthquakes, occur often in the Asia-Pacific, affecting as much as 84% of the world's population. Aso said that the infrastructure needs to be disaster resilient so that when disaster strikes, countries do not lose out twice from having to rebuild their infrastructure and economies while missing out on much-needed tourism revenue. And in world news, at least 41 people died when an Aeroflot airliner burst into flames while making an emergency landing at Moscow's airport today. The national airline had 73 passengers and 5 crew members on board when it touched down and sped along a runway, spewing huge flames and black smoke. Later in sports with Jamie, Boa held Seroa to an 18-all draw over the weekend in the Vanoi Challenge. But first, Rachel is finally back from Nandi with all the very latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Yes, it's great to be back. And good evening, Fiji, coming up after the break. Fiji failing to be an attractive market in renewable energy sector. And in growing Fiji, Lifeline Fiji to open more branches. Stay with us.
For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singatoka. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singatoka.
Gold FM.
Leading business tonight, Fiji is failing to become an attractive market in the renewable energy sector for international investors. CBS Power Solutions General Manager and Director Amit Singh claims the challenges lies in the economies of scale. The company provides renewable energy projects in the rural communities, which helps reduce fuel bills and emissions for Fiji's greenhouse gases. The CBS Solutions says they have had discussions with investors from financial institutions and private investors from Europe, the US and Australia. However, they do not want to invest as the market here is too small.
They'd love to give 10 million USD. Our demand is only 3 million maybe. So it's not an attractive market for them. That's one of the issues that we have realized in the last 18 months, trying to do our background on the financing or source of financing.
Singh adds while there are many opportunities in the renewable energy sector, there are many financial limitations.
Because we are on a receiving end, what ADB, World Bank, commercial banks will formulate, we will just receive that. We don't have a say in what we need. Of course, we can share what we need, but we can't influence the policies as a private sector. We can't influence what we can formulate with the governments. Private sector has very limited say when it comes to policies.
These challenges were discussed at the ADB high-level meeting last week, which addressed the concerns of financing for private investors in the energy sector. And we now join Sunifa from HFC Bank with the latest from the money markets.
Let's review our local stock market last week. The South Pacific Stock Exchange saw a total of 13,704 shares traded in 58 transactions, valuing more than $52,000 over the week. 8 listed stocks recorded market activity, and multiple share price movements were noted. Fiji K Insurance Limited shares rose by 15 cents, concluding the week at $1.70. Paradise Beverages Fiji Limited shares rose 1 cent to close at $13.01. Bliss Global Limited shares showed an upward trend with an increase to $2.60, up 4% when compared to the previous week. BSP Convertible Notes Limited closed the week at $18, noting a growth of 80 cents. Subsequent to the various share price movements, the overall market capitalization increased by 0.13%, and ended the week at $3.5 billion. That's a wrap from our local stock market, Naka.
Thanks, Anifa. On to today's exchange rates as it was set this morning. Now, with the U.S. once again getting tough with China in their trade and tariffs dispute, the foreign exchange market was volatile. The Fiji dollar made against the Aussie dollar, but slipped slightly against the Kiwi dollar, the Chinese yuan, the American greenback, and the other currencies we cover. Looking at the commodities market, oil prices continued its slow drop, down more than $1 at $60 per barrel. Gold rose more than $10 to $1,281 per ounce, and silver closed up at $14.86 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, Lifeline Fiji will soon be opening branches in the western and northern divisions to increase their visibility. Officer in charge Jeremiah Merikula says the new branches will enable them to carry out more awareness programs in rural areas. He says it is important that people speak up and raise their concerns.
As we come through through a culture of silence background where we don't talk about it, most of us Fijians, we bottle up our emotions and what we go through in a day. So one of the main things that we always raise awareness on is the importance of reaching out for help and speaking out if you're going through any crisis.
And that's business for tonight. Jamie's up next with sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, mental preparation vital for Fiji 7, says Beba. And FNRL appoints acting chief executive. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm a Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Kritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Fiji Airways 7's coach Gareth Baber says mental toughness is paramount heading into the final leg of the World 7 Series. Baber adds it's important the players have some sort of coping mechanism to ensure their performance is not affected. Kurei Tandolala with the details.
Coach Gareth Baber says they have been working consistently on their mental preparation with less than 2 weeks left before the London Sevens kick-off.
And that's not to be underestimated. You're playing against teams like America and New Zealand and England who have quadrupled the caps that we've got. It's a harsh environment, it's a tough environment to learn on, but one of the big things we pride ourselves on as a management team, as a staff, is to develop these boys as quickly as we can. We're going to take hits. One of those is, everybody will point, probably the second half against South Africa in Singapore.
Speaking to FBC Sports, former New Zealand Sevens captain DJ Forbes says Fiji needs to improve some areas of their game plan to obtain the desired results.
Based on what I saw last time, Fiji will need a few things to go their way in order for America to trip up. But it's going to make for an exciting finish to the World Series, and whoever ends up in the top 4 is probably going to be going into their off-season a little bit more easier knowing that they're qualified.
Meanwhile, Fiji is expected to name its London Sevens squad next week. Kurei Tandolala, FBC Sports.
One of the pioneers of rugby league in the country has spoken publicly for the first time regarding the late Penny Musanamasi, who passed away last Thursday. 2008 Vodafone Fiji Mbati coach Joe Rambele struggled to control his emotions today while speaking with Aquila Dhama about the sacrifices his longtime friend made for the sport in Fiji.
That's how Penny contribute in this rugby league, Fiji National Rugby League.
Trying hard to fight back the tears today, Joe Rambele, who was there from 1992 when rugby league was introduced in Fiji, says we have lost a great man.
I think we lost a great father, a great ambassador of rugby league here in Fiji.
Musanamasi sacrificed a lot for the sport. He even had to mortgage his house for the sake of rugby league. Musnamasi's house was also used as an FNRL office in 2000 when the sport was going through a tough time.
From 2000, rugby league was in a devastating state. As I mentioned, it's supposed to be dead, not to be existed in Fiji anymore. And these two gentlemen, Mr. Elisa Tangtupo and Penny Musnamash, these two gentlemen think that this sport suited us Fijians, and they keep this game alive, especially giving their money, mortgage their houses, just to keep this game alive.
Rambele says he's quite sad because he was the last one from FNRL to have had any contact with Musnamasi before he passed. Aquila Dhama, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Fiji National Rugby League has appointed Don Natabe as its acting CEO. FNRL board member Tommy Finau also officially announced the passing of their chairman. While he highlighted Penny Musnamasi's contribution to the sport, he added the onus was now on them to continue the journey. He adds the Fiji Rugby League family will formally pay their respects tomorrow.
To ensure that the sport continues with its administration, we would like to announce that our acting CEO in the interim for the Fiji National Rugby League is Mr. Don Natabe, D-O-N-N-A-T-A-B-E. Mr. Don Natabe is from Sabeto in Nandi. He's the secretary for the Nandi Aviators Rugby League zone.
Lautoka's Churchill Park will continue hosting the Fiji FAC through to the semi-finals and final this weekend. Winning 2 straight matches in its FAC campaign, Lautoka was the first team to confirm its place in the Final 4 and will take on Nandi in the first semi-final at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. The Suva football team booked the last semi-final spot after they drew 1-1 with Lautoka last night and will face Pool B leaders Mba at 3:30 p.m. The final will be played at 3:30 Sunday. The Mboa provincial rugby side fought tooth and nail to hold Seroto an 18-all draw in their Valvano Cup match over the weekend. The two sides met at the Vuya District Ground in Mboa. Eleanor Turangiviu reports.
Mboa's second round of the Vodafone Vanua Cup Challenge saw them meet an equally strong team from Vitilevu, Serua. It was an exciting match from start to finish.
I want to express my gratitude for the tough game that was played here between Serua and Bua that resulted in an 18-all draw.
The Mboa side copped 2 yellow cards during the game. Coach Nicola Tudova says they need to work on their weaknesses.
We will definitely go back and address some of the areas that we are lacking, especially with the punctuality of the boys.
Serua coach Ilimoa Wundinyambola says although they were gunning for a win, the team performed well despite being flashed 2 yellow cards and 1 red card.
I'm happy because last 2 weeks, overall beat us in our home ground in Thompson Park. I'm very happy. I thank the boys for their performance today.
Serua faces Madhwata this Saturday in Lambasa, and the side knows they have to up their game.
The endurance and the strength, that's the main weakness.
Boa will take on Nukulora in their 3rd match this season on their home ground this Saturday. Eleanor Turangevio, FBC Sports.
Wallabies fullback Israel Folau's rugby playing future remains uncertain as his disciplinary hearing drags on for a 3rd day. A 3-person independent panel will return tomorrow, still unable to reach a decision despite more than 15 hours of legal arguments. English Premier League 3rd place holder Chelsea slammed Watford 3-0 this morning to maintain its position with 71 points. In today's play of the day, Fiji-born Parramatta Eels flyer Micah Sivo scoring an amazing try to help his side beat the Dragons 32-18 last night. Sivo scorched through the gap and showed a clean pair of heels to go past the oncoming Ben Hunt. Still waving the ball around, he took on Matt Duffy and turned him inside out. That's it from sports tonight. Join Angie later on with weather and then new media. A look at the backpack that gives you a massage while it's on your back. Details after this break.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ लुम्बुआ से। जैसे प्रेनी नोट मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फिजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फिजी 2।
We take a look at the world's first painted backpack with a built-in massager. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Such a lovely day with cool winds blowing by and the nights are getting cooler, so keep warm. There is a sudden change in the weather scenario, but it poses no threat to Fiji. A look in the west, quite mild, scattered clouds and showers will be around. Hope the first day of term 2 was enjoyed by the school children. Eastwards from Pak Harbor to Suva, quite cool with heavy showers expected later tonight. And up north, mild with showers also expected. At sea, easterly winds to 25 knots, very rough seas. For the tides, low tide at 7:52 p.m. tonight with high tide at 1:46 a.m. Sunrise at 6:21. For tomorrow, a shower or two, otherwise all good and very windy. Tomorrow's temps, major centers will be cool at low 30s. And looking further on to Wednesday, well, there is more great cool weather in store for us. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked, should Fiji start hosting high-power events in the future after the ADB meeting last week?
Fiji should host the high-power meetings because Fiji is a safe place.
I think Fiji is a safe place to host a meeting like ADB.
Yeah, I think so, because Fiji can host a bigger meeting because it's a friendly country.
Of course, I do believe that Fiji should host another big meeting like this since it's a friendly country and has friendly people.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, located in India is a national park that is the world's only floating wildlife sanctuary. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Valvano Secondary School resumes classes, 11 men charged with criminal trespassing and parents frustrated about e-transport card top-up. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment, last week we asked, is FRA doing enough to fix potholes on our roads? 47% said yes. This week we're asking, should severe penalties be imposed on those who sell undersized marine species? Visit our FBC website to answer. Our shot of the day was taken by Shelvin Reddy, a beautiful shot of Malo Malo Beach in Singatoka. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Bula, nevang go malakai leloma, ngongai nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Hoya ubasit sai lambasa, ya untuk talita ina warong ng Bula FM nambang dua na sere.
Gua do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Wana tunga ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere nawaluan.
Nevang go fani na tao ne go singa toka, kita untuk talita ka ng Bula FM nambang dua na sere.
Bula FM nambang dua na sere.